Hi, and thanks for joining me today. My name is Kurskin, and I'm a fluid mixed media artist at Art by Kurskin. This is my new YouTube channel, so thanks for joining me today for this video. Hope everyone's having a great day. We're going to be doing a ring pour on a 24 by 30 inch canvas, and we're going to stack these colors in a kitchen measuring cup. My first color is Amsterdam Titanium White. Next we have Master's Touch Navy Blue and Deco Art Extreme Sheen Sapphire. My pouring medium is 40 milliliters of Floetrol, a teaspoon of GAC 800, and it's actually 10 milliliters of Liquitex pouring medium. I do add water to reach the right consistency with my heavy body acrylics, and that's 20 milliliters of paint. Next we have Liquitex Turquoise Blue, and we can review those consistencies for different pours in future videos. Comment below to let me know if you're interested. And next we have Amsterdam Turquoise Green. It's a beautiful color palette. Now this is a color that I mixed up myself, so I called it KK Green. And it's Liquitex Lime Green with Lukas Cadnium Yellow and the Amsterdam Titanium White. I do mix in some Color Art Green, Bling It Interference Dry Pigment. It's really going to make it pop. I love the Color Art pigments. Can't wait to see how this turns out. Next we have Deco Art Americana Metallics, 24 karat. Next we have another color I mixed together, and I call that KK Coral. And this is a combination of Amsterdam Vermilion with Deco Art Pink Tourmaline and a small amount of Lukas Cadnium Yellow. And I continued to stack these colors until the cups were empty, and this is what the cup looks like. Okay, we're ready to pour out this cup onto the canvas. What started out as my intention to do a ring pour actually became a combination of pours. Once you begin to put your paint down on the canvas, you kind of make decisions based on your color scheme and what you're seeing on the canvas. That leads you to what you really want to do once you start pouring that paint out. So I actually decided that I wanted to incorporate a straight pour, a ring pour, and then I ended up with a traveling pour. I kind of give it a tail on the end. It's just what I felt like was going to look really good for the painting that I'm doing. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Also hit that notification bell if you would like to receive future notifications of videos that will be coming out. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Art by Kurskin. Okay, we're finished with that, so we're going to put some of our base coat around the pour. And this is to give the pour something to float on the canvas, so when I go to tilt the canvas, it will be able to come off of the canvas in the areas where we're tilting easily and not dry on the canvas. And so we're going to begin to tilt. I'm hoping to get some cells in here. I really do love these colors. Let me know what you think in the comments. Olga Sobey is one of my favorite fluid artists, and I learned a lot watching her YouTube videos. So shout out Olga. She has a paint calculator that she has online. You can look up smartartmaterials.com. I'll put that link in the description. It's really important to know the size of your canvas and how much paint you're going to need to cover it. This way you can save on wasting paint, and you can also make sure that you have enough paint to cover your canvas completely. Now back to the pouring medium that I mix my paints with. That is a 2-to-1 ratio, pouring medium to paint. But I do add a couple of extra things in for this particular pour. It is 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part Liquitex pouring medium. I do sometimes add a teaspoon of GAC 800 if it's my base flood that I'm using it for. I add the GAC 800 to the base flood only. But to my paints, I add 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part Liquitex pouring medium, and to 1 part paint, and then I add water as needed. Tammy Anderson at Tammy Anderson Art has a YouTube channel. I've learned so much from watching Tammy's videos, so shout out to Tammy also. She has a paint consistency video where she shows the 1 through 5 paint consistencies, and this has been very helpful for many fluid artists and new and upcoming artists. I highly recommend that video, and I will link that video in the description along with Olga Sobey's paint calculator. I'm just continuing to move the paint around a little bit to make sure that it's in the place where I want it to be. Just dipping it off this side here. And I'm going to be trimming up the sides. You can use a palette knife. Sometimes I use my fingers. Depends on what's available. There's my husband handing me a towel. My husband and I are both artists. He does a lot of woodworking. He makes his own cornhole boards. So he is very supportive of my art journey. He makes my own paint spinners, has helped me design my art studio. Sorry for the shot of the back of my head. I'm just trying to remove any excess paint that is on the canvas. And now I'm just touching up the sides. You can do this with a palette knife. Most of the time I do. But sometimes I just use my finger. I like to trim up the bottom of the canvas, which I do cover with frog tape. I have found that to be the best of all the tapes that I have tried in order to keep the paint off the bottom of the canvas to keep it clean. This design is gorgeous. I really love it. So now we're just going to give it a torch. Shaping up some sides over here. And we're ready to take a look at this canvas. One last tilt to make sure this is the final. Oh wow. I see some pearl cells. Oh, and we have some big chameleon cells in there too. This is gorgeous. I really do love the lime green Liquitex that I mixed in with the color art. That is really making this pop. Let's look at it from this angle. I apologize for the lighting that's glaring off the painting. Ooh. The gold is just magnificent in there. I really, really love this so much. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you would like to receive notifications, please hit that notification bell to receive future notifications of my new videos. Please like, subscribe, comment on this video, share this video. Let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed this video. This painting is sold. A very good friend of mine, out of state, saw this painting and loved it immediately. So thank you. I appreciate that so much. This canvas takes about 2 to 3 weeks to dry and cure, and then it will be covered in a Liquitex high gloss varnish, about 3 coats, and that has a UV protectant in it to protect the paints from chipping off. It also gives it a nice shine. I don't resin a canvas this size. I usually don't resin a canvas above 11 by 14. Let's take a look at the finished canvas result. I think my friend will be very pleased. I'm pleased. If you enjoyed this video, please join me here on YouTube once a week, where we do fluid art videos, tutorials, mixing tips, and just talk about fluid art. Hit that subscribe button, and also remember to ring that notification bell for future art videos. You can follow Art by Kurskin on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks so much for joining me and watching the video. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Bye, y'all.